So a lot of times in life, we have the urge to quit, the urge to give up when the going gets tough or the stress of life just seems to be so overwhelming and the pressure just seems to build and things aren't going so easy. Maybe they're not going so well. Maybe not everything's falling into place like you want it to be. And you just can't take it. It stresses you out. You're anxious, overwhelmed. You're doubting yourself. You just want to throw in the towel and just say, can't do it no more. And I think we can all kind of relate to that feeling at some point in our life, whether it's a job or school or anything that we're trying to accomplish in our lives, the urge to quit, to just stop and to give up. Life can be very overwhelming at times. It can be stressful. Problems arise that seem to just be unsolvable. And maybe they're not even that unsolvable, but just having so many little problems stack on top of each other can make it all just feel like the weight is just too much to carry or bear anymore. And I felt like that in my personal life at times, where it's just like, I just don't want to do it no more. I can't. I'm done. Just throw in the towel. But something happens when you push past those feelings of exhaustion, burnout, the stress, the anxiety. If you can kind of just get yourself together after you break down and just, that little voice, if you can hold on to that little fire and just, keep it lit, something amazing happens. Give yourself something to kind of anchor you. A goal that you might set up. Whatever it is. Like, oh, hey, I can't give up. I gotta get my ass inside a Mercedes. And it's okay to have a big goal like that. Something to kind of anchor you. Something to kind of dream and work for. Whatever it may be. Maybe it's a specific amount of money or a job, or you're trying to get a specific degree, or whatever it is. Find your Mercedes in your life, that anchor in your life that I can't give up. I haven't gotten my Mercedes. I haven't gotten my degree yet. I haven't gotten that job yet. I can't give up. I gotta try. And that's the thing. You have to. You have to go for it, regardless of your situation in front of you. Even though the odds may feel like they're stacked against you, your own mind is telling you, nah, you can't do it. Those voices in your head that, they keep telling you, oh, you should just quit, just forget about it, give up. You're never going to be able to achieve it. The voices of others on top of that telling you, oh, hey, why don't you just do something a little bit easier? Oh, you're crazy. You'll never be able to do that. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You don't have the resources. You'll never accomplish that. It's other people can say that stuff, right? But the worst is your own thoughts, because you listen to enough people saying that you can't do it, or that you're a failure, or just people with negative attitudes, you'll start, thinking those same thoughts, and you'll start to kind of lose your edge. You'll start to lose that, that drive and that ambition and what made you want to go after that goal in the first place. Some people are really good at hyping themselves up. We get excited about an idea that we have, whatever it is. And it pops in our head and we get excited. We start working towards it. We start researching it. And then, as soon as, we get tired or exhausted, that's when it's just like, oh, well, nah, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. Because it's always exciting at first with this new goal or ambition, whatever it is. It's always exciting at first. And then you're going to hit kind of a point where it's just like the reality sets in, and this is harder than I thought it would be. This is more difficult than I thought it would be. This is not, coming as easy as I planned it to be. And that's okay. Because whenever you're trying to achieve anything in this lifetime, you're going to hit those roadblocks of uncertainty and fear. And you're going to get to that point where it's just like, this is freaking difficult. This is harder than I thought. But you need to push past those barriers. Because life will throw you those... Life is full of roadblocks and barriers that you just got to keep smashing through. You get stuck, take a little time and just keep smashing those damn barriers. Breaking down every barrier, breaking down every obstacle. If you can't go around it, if you can't jump over it, go through the freaking thing. Right? I mean, that's the thing. Never stop. Never stop. No matter what. It's okay to get tired. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to recenter yourself and find your footing and take some time to kind of just de-stress and relax. Because you can't work yourself into oblivion. Burnout's a real thing. If you work yourself into oblivion towards your goal and you don't take any time for yourself, then you will burn out. Part of the process of achieving anything is learning when to rest and rejuvenate. Because if you're constantly going, nonstop, and you don't take any time for yourself, you don't rest, you don't relax even just a little bit, and in our busy lives, it's hard to find time for that, but you need to. It's a necessity to carve out some time for rest and relaxation. Even if you're limited, even if you only get a couple hours, on a Sunday to take some time and just sit outside and enjoy the weather or read a book or, throw on a podcast or meditate or whatever it is that you do that helps you stay centered, that helps you stay sane. And it's not only, it's vital and it's necessary to your success to do so, to carve out that time for rest and relaxation and recreation. You'll be surprised what taking some time for yourself will do, for your goals. Because some people are afraid to take a breather. They think if they're spending any downtime or not studying constantly or not working constantly or not, progressing towards their goals constantly, over and over, nonstop, then they feel like a failure. They feel like I'm not making any progress. But the total opposite is true. When you give yourself a chance to kind of sit there and take your mind off of whatever issue that you're facing, whatever problem that you may face, or thing that you're trying to solve in life, when you allow yourself to take those breaks and kind of disconnect, something happens. The answers come to us out of when we're laughing and having fun and kind of just enjoying life. We kind of come back to that sort of childlike, rejuvenating sort of feeling inside of ourselves. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments what I'm talking about. It's a hard sort of feeling to put to words, but the answer's kind of just, and it's just like, the epiphany comes. And it's just, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that? Because your mind is capable of doing those things. Your mind is far powerful than you give yourself credit for. We have these supercomputer, cerebellums inside of us, our brains. They're supercomputers. that are capable of solving, very complex problems. They're capable of taking these complex problems and making them simple and solving them. There's nothing that the human mind can't solve. It's just what happens is the other human aspect of us is that we succumb to stress. We succumb to anxiety. We succumb to pressure. And being humans, that just, you know what I mean? It makes you want to just, say, you know what I mean? And but that's part of human nature. That's part of the human experience is getting burnt out, is getting stressed, is getting fed up, is swinging at the fence, But it's overcoming those hard times and pushing through. And the person that you become when you can, despite getting beat down and frustrated and just knocked to the ground, picking yourself up and just keep moving forward and keep going for it, no matter what, because you only have this one lifetime. Forget the fear, forget, the fear of failure of what if I don't succeed? Well, if you don't succeed at it, then there's a million other things that you can try. And that's the thing. You're going to fail a million different times before you get it right, before you get anything right. And that's just the human experience of being a human. And your failures, you'll learn things from your failures, that are some of the greatest lessons of life that will eventually down the road help you succeed. Take it from me. I've had my own fair share of failures in my life. I had 2 businesses that completely just ran into the ground. Completely ran into the ground. Didn't know what I was doing. Thought I was the smartest person in the world. Thought, I can do this, blah, blah, blah. Just jumped into it without thinking. And the second time, kind of was just, I know a little bit better because I failed the first time and I messed that one up too. But what I learned from those business failures was very valuable. I was like, okay, well, definitely not going to make those same mistakes again. And you can learn from them, those failures. And when you learn from your failures, you kind of just become better. Not better than other people, but just a better version of yourself. Because when you fail and you mess up, you learn way more than when you succeed. Because when you succeed at something, you kind of get a semblance of, there comes with like a cockiness, there comes with like maybe a slight arrogance, and it kind of gives your ego a nice little, back rub, right? When you succeed at something, you get those good feelings. You learn way more from your failures. Listen, if you like this video, like, subscribe, check out the next one. We got more coming up. See ya.